From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,326 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,695. And Howard.com reports after months of speculation that such a move was coming had all but died down, President Trump made a surprise move on Tuesday announcing the firing of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The announcement was made via Twitter, and Tillerson reportedly found out on Twitter. Trump said of the firing that he and Tillerson had different mindsets. Trump intends to replace him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo, about whom he said, "We have a similar thought process." The move is raising a lot of questions as to why. Indications are that the immediate cause was that Tillerson endorsed the idea that Russia was behind the poisoning of an ex-spy in Britain after the White House had already said they weren't going to accuse Russia for the incident. Tillerson did not just contradict the White House, but reporters said he made several other on-the-record comments about Russia during the flight back to the U.S. from his trip to Africa. Pompeo is seen as much less hostile towards Russia, and this is believed to be the driving force for the sacking. Not that it was a single-issue move, with Representative Nancy Pelosi of California going so far as to claim that Trump effectively fired Tillerson at the behest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The change sets the stage for a State Department that's a bit more friendly towards Russia, however. But of course, that's not the only change. Pompeo and Tillerson differed on a lot of issues. Pompeo, in particular, is seen as very hawkish on Iran, which is leading the Israeli press to conclude that the Netanyahu government will be happy with the change. Pompeo is also seen as a lot more critical towards North Korea, as Tillerson was long inclined to diplomacy, earning multiple rebukes for it. With Trump heading towards direct talks with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, it's a bit surprising that Pompeo will be taking Tillerson's place, but that underscores how many intertwining issues are involved in this sort of replacement of a top U.S. diplomat. The importance of U.S. diplomatic stance on several issues is very important to overall U.S. military policy, and both Tillerson and Pompeo have their pet issues on which they are hawkish and at other times more inclined towards reasonable dialogue. While there is a tendency among analysts to try to settle on a specific conclusion of what such a big change means ahead of time, the reality is that the full impact of these changes is going to be impossible to predict for quite some time. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports House Democrats on Monday blocked a Republican-sponsored bill that would have allowed terminally ill patients to try experimental drug treatments that haven't been approved by the FDA. The Right to Try Act failed to get the two-thirds of the House vote it needed to move on to the Senate with a vote of 259 to 140. After the vote, Republicans blasted Democrats for preventing the bill from moving forward. The bill had its share of critics outside of the House chambers who said it failed to address the problems of gaining access to experimental treatments because it did not require the drug companies to allow those treatments to be accessed. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a former aide to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was found guilty by a Manhattan jury on Tuesday of agreeing to take bribes from executives at two companies seeking to do business with the state government. The verdict against Joseph Percoco is the highest profile federal corruption conviction in New York since the 2015 convictions of two former leading state legislators, which were later overturned. Percoco's lawyers could not immediately be reached for comment. Cuomo, a Democrat, is up for re-election this year, and he has not been charged with any wrongdoing. Percoco was indicted on bribery and conspiracy charges in November 2016. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.